Hey guys, this is Donna Lay, and I just want to introduce you to a little bit of combining of the best of two worlds. I've done videos on combining tarot with Lenormand. What I find is that if you stick to the strengths of both, you're going to end up with some readings that are very clear and may give you more information than either one of these decks can give alone. For example, after about a year of not doing tarot readings, almost all my readings were Lenormand readings, and I found that my clients were actually specifically asking for these because it told the guts of what was going on instead of what was the feelings that were pulling them. We ended up finding some really wonderful readings. But here's the thing, this can tell you where you'll end up, but it may not tell you if you really like it or not. So it may tell you about people coming in, it may tell you about things you're thinking about in the tarot. The tarot is a very emotional journey, and it will tell you kind of the inside story. This is what we live every day. The thing that's inside of us is how we see the world. It's the filter through which we see all the other stuff that happens within us is the tarot, the emotional journey. This is our reality. This is how we feel. This is what we really think is going on, despite the outside stuff that's going on and how things are moving around. The inside journey may be different. So two different people may experience the same thing physically and may feel very differently about it. One person may be looking for, say, a job and really want to get it, and another person may get it and hate it, while the first person may enjoy it. So this will tell you if you'll get it. This is going to tell you the inside experience and if you're enjoying it. So if you keep true to each of the systems and how you read them, I'm not going to be putting the readings together in terms of blending these into one spread. I'm going to use them separately, and I'm going to show you how you can get conflicting information between these. And when they conflict, that's probably the most important information that you'll get. The conflicts between the reality and how someone feels is going to tell them that where they're headed may be the wrong situation, or where they're going may not give them the satisfaction they expect, even if they get what they think they want. So let's do a couple of sample readings and we'll see if this makes sense to you. Okay, for this tutorial what we'll do is we'll use Ciro Marchetti's beautiful spread cloth. I have two readily recognizable decks. So I have the Universal Weight Tarot, which is based on the Rider-Waite system, and I've got the French Cartomancy deck, which is debordered here, but you can do that at home if you'd like. Now, what really brought this to my attention is I was doing a combined reading with a friend, and we took out our tarot and we took out our Lenormand, and we asked the same question to see how each of the card systems answered it. This particular question was, would her son get this modeling job that he had applied for? And the kind of cards that we got were as follows. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I remember the mood was like this. So when we looked at it, we thought, it looks like these are difficult cards of waiting, and it looks like if you were to do this in a reading and you apply this to the context of the question with the Devil, the Three of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Nine of Wands, it looks like we may say, well, he may not, or something may be offered, or there's trouble here in terms of getting what he wants. So when we asked Lenormand, and again, I don't remember the exact cards, but I do remember this was the message they conveyed. Something like bouquet, key, fish. So this would definitely be a yes if we were to ask the Lenormand. We've got three great cards. We've got a gift being offered. We've got the key. This is the answer. And we've got money with the job, with the fish here. So why the sad cards? And she said, I know exactly what this means. Basically, he is taking this job because he needs the funding. He was more interested in something else. If I remember, it may have been college, but he didn't have the finances to do it. But this career would provide him what he needed for college finances. Apparently, he didn't like some of the politics within the modeling industry, so he didn't feel happy being there, but he did get what he needed in terms of finances if he got it. So this clarified for me that this is the outer experience. So the Lenormand tells us what actually happens. We got a yes or no. Did he or didn't he? Will he or won't he? Is he or isn't he? This is the frank physical happening. This is the inner workings of what's going on with her son, how he feels about it. So if you were to answer this in a tarot reading, it may be difficult to answer this question because as a reader, you would assume he wants the job. So if you get a card like the Three of Swords, you may say, it looks like he may be heartbroken, okay? So you assume he won't get it. But the inner workings and the outer workings give us a bigger picture of the reality of what's going on so that you may get something, but it may not be what you think the client wants, or it may not be what they want. So let's take a look at some other samples to see how the inner and outer play happens. Let's ask if a person will get a job that they want. Okay, so here's the tarot. Here's the Lenormand. Let's ask, first of all, will they get the job? We get the Garden, the Woman, and we'll assume it's a woman querent, the Lily. That looks really great. These are all really wonderful cards, and the Anchor is the job card. So we'll say, you know what, yes, it looks like you're going to get the job, and there are other details that can be added in the reading here as well based on how you interpret the sequence of cards. If we were to ask the tarot, what will be the inner experience of getting that job, and this is how you would combine the two while honoring each of the systems. Queen of Wands, Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. So it looks like there's a lot of, these are really neat series of cards. So it looks like the Queen of Wands shows the ability to use a lot of passion or creativity or energy. Same thing going on here, multitasking, juggling, and working with many people. But there is also a feeling of restriction, whether it's being trapped in a cubicle that's too tight or not being able to do what you want. You're using someone else's creative flow. This type of energy may be also embedded within these good cards. But these are the type of feelings, so the person will get it, and you can tell them this is how they'll feel when they get there. We did have someone ask if they would get promoted or moved to another department in the financial institution where they worked. So let's look into this. Cross, Rider. Man, these are almost exactly the same types of messages we got there. So if we look at the Lenormand, we got the Cross, the Rider, the Man, and the Stork. These are both movement cards. And we've got the Man. This was actually a man querent who asked the question, so that's interesting. So we see him moving, but with the Cross, we get some oppression and feelings of being squelched. So it looks like there is a movement there, but already we're getting a warning about how he may feel about it. Now, let's see how Tarot interprets this move for him emotionally and see how it interprets. Okay, so Page of Pentacles, so there's money. There it is again, so it looks like he may even get a promotion. Ace of Swords and Queen of Pentacles. So it looks actually pretty good that it's going to be working out for him. This is all about money. Wow, and he handles money, so that's really great. Every card I get is a pentacle card. So clearly there's going to be some kind of a burden that happens here. The cards are not defining it, so we're asking the job. So let's ask the cards specifically. What is this cross? You could ask that of the Lenormand. You can ask it of the tarot. The Lenormand is going to tell you the physical burden. This is going to tell you how the person feels about it. So let's dig into that a little bit. I'm going to keep the same cards there, and we'll ask about what will be the trouble or burden or heaviness of this movement. There it is, moving. Heart, stars, and networking and clouds. Okay, so the movement, it looks like he's going to enjoy the movement itself. Movement, you got the ship and the heart. And the stars is about networking and getting out there and hope, and that's good. And then the clouds, confusion, not liking something, and perhaps it's the networking or what he has to do with the networking that may be unsatisfactory to him, the way that he has to do this job with contacting other people. And you can keep pulling those things. It could be that if the child comes up after the clouds, starting it, not knowing what he's doing, having to do something for the first time may be frustrating. So if that's a burdensome thing to him, he may feel like he's a burden to other people by having to learn how to do it the first time, or that it's hard for him to learn and it becomes a stressful experience. Let's see what tarot says. Holding on. There's our pentacles again. Blockage. Two of Swords and Judgment. And Tower. Okay, so Judgment and Tower, I think what's going to happen is he's trying to manage the books here with the Four of Pentacles. There's something he may not see, or he may not be able to see yet because he hasn't been trained, or he has to learn boundaries. And Judgment is actually maybe just that. He may feel judged, or there's something going on, and that may cause some problems in his jobs in terms of how he's judged, or it could be a boss that he's working with, perhaps, the difficulty that he's having with a particular person judging him. So while it shows him managing it and trying to hang on tight and save, it shows that there may be a learning curve and experience here that may cause him some feelings of wanting to block or protect himself. Let's try one more just to see the difference in inner and outer language. All right, so here's a question you hear a lot in readings, is will he come back? All right, we broke up, he left, I miss him, will he ever come back? So let's find out. So here's our tarot, here's our Lenormand. So the Lenormand reading will reveal Whip, Moon, Book, Stork. Interesting cards, really interesting cards. So what we have here is Whip, Moon, Book, Stork, and Rider. This shows him coming in, and it's a lesson to be learned because it starts with the Whip. This could either be sexuality attracts them, it's a sexual attraction that's bringing him back, and with the Moon next to it, it's like you're known for that sexual bond. It's how you see someone, see them as sexy. This could also be abusive or patterns or something that happens known as patterns, and the book can be learning that as well. This is movement, migration, and when my things migrate, they go back and forth. And this is the Rider coming in, but this is a less stable card. It's a moving through card. So it looks like we could tell this person, yeah, it looks like he may come through again, but let's see how the experience is when it happens. Will it be good or not? Okay, so it looks like, it's funny because we get a lot of really nice cards in here. So it looks like these two are really enjoying each other's company. It's funny because I do read reversals and I'm not getting any reversals. The first card is a hard one. So it may be how they start is going to be the hardest part. It's the ending, the 10, starts again with 1. The Ace, in the new beginning. Looks like they're doing good, they're strong. The Chariot is a lot of movement, and the Lovers bodes well for this particular relationship. So it looks like things will actually be quite good. It'll be hard in the beginning, or maybe this is because they're apart, how they feel, and then how it evolves. But there's the Ace of Wands. This is also a sexuality card, and the Fire. These are all good moving cards, just like these are moving cards. The Lovers is going to talk about choices they have to make. The Chariot is about movement and the will to do it. These are talking a little bit more. You get a very similar message between these two readings. They don't conflict. So the inner and outer experiences kind of blend together. What's interesting is the first card was the most difficult in both these spreads, for the Lenormand as well as for the Tarot. So something at the very outset of this relationship getting back together, or what pulls them together, is this pain or the difficulty in doing without. So it looks like they are having a hard time being apart, and it looks like they will come back together. Another question you could ask of the deck is, will it be long-term or short-term? So, and that would be another reading. One more. Someone is looking at a house. They want to know, will I get the house? We're looking at this really nice big house. It's beautiful. We want to upgrade. Will we get it? This time let's start with Tarot. 5 of Swords. Chariot, the moving card. I got the 2 of Pentacles again. And the Page of Swords. So it looks like it's difficult to get, and someone maybe the bank looking at them, or something problematic, but it does look like movement, trying to juggle things. It might be two loans and the Page of Swords, starting out learning. Let's see if the Lenormand sees a move for them, because this is how they're feeling, and actually looks like it's pretty good, except for in the beginning we got a little difficulty there. Let's see, we got Stork, Key, there's the move, and then we got the Scythe, and the House. Ooh, interesting, the Scythe and this Five of Swords are very similar. And they do get the House, and it looks like it's good, and we've got the Lily. So we got a very similar message here, and the trick is finding out what this troublesome thing is. The key is there may be something they have to make cuts with, so they may have to take away, if it's a bigger house, some of the things they're used to having in order to do it, because the key tells us this is the secret, the way in, and it looks like they get it, because the key tells us this is the way in, and this is how they get it. And same thing here, it looks like they may have to walk away from something, move away from something, and it's a troublesome thing when you drop these swords. The feeling of it is a feeling of resignation, but movement here, movement with the Stork, disagrees. So the inner and outer experience are very similar here. When you do a reading and they conflict with each other, the inner and outer experience, it's something to explore very carefully with your client and see if what they're looking for is really the outcome they want. And you'll learn a lot more about your clients in terms of the physical experience, as well as how they're feeling about their world. Your feelings are the filter through which you experience everything. So the tarot gives us a really important piece of information about this person's life filter and experience. This is what's happening to the people. But really, whether it's good or bad is going to be measured a lot through the tarot, because what's good for one person may not be seen as good for another person, and it's unique to that person. So see where it takes you with your clients. Try this in your own readings, and I'll give you a challenge to try this for the next week or two and see if you put the two together. However you read tarot, keep doing it the same way. However you read the Lenormand, do it as you usually do, but then try both of them in the same question and see where it takes you and how much more you learn about yourself.